Do you like the colors in this shot? Or in this? I'm gonna show you how I graded them using Dehancer. First of all, I want to thank Dehancer for setting me up with their plugin. Officially the first sponsor on this channel, so I want to sincerely say thank you. They have an awesome team that really wants to work with creators. And one of the conditions of this review is that I actually had to be 100% honest about their plugin. So they don't want me to sell you on the plugin if I don't like it, but I like it. All right, so if we hop into Final Cut Pro, which is what I use, I've dabbled into Davinci Resolve, which is awesome for coloring, not so much for editing in my experience. I like the magnetic timeline of Final Cut, but Dehancer is also available for Davinci and Premiere Pro, but we are working in Final Cut. All right, so if we take a look at our opening shot of the travel video I did in Paris, you can watch the full video up above. This is what we're working with. I took out the keyframes and the vortex effect, so we have a clean static shot. So this is what we want to create. And if we start with the log profile, it looks like this. So let me take those titles off. So we're starting with this, and we're gonna end up with this using Dehancer. So let's get started. All right, so if we go into our clip, you can see that there are 3 layers here. I got color wheels, dehancers, and a hue saturation curve. Those color wheels and the hue saturation curve are minor adjustments that I did in addition to the Dehancer, but really the meat and potatoes is going to be Dehancer in this creating process. So we go into Dehancer, and this is our menu here. So we start with choosing our camera. You have these different input options, but we're gonna choose the camera because it's included in here, which is the Fujifilm X-H2S. I think almost every major brand is here. Yeah, Nikon's not in here. So except for Nikon, every brand is here. I shot this on the Fujifilm X-H2S in f-Log 2. So this is what we're working with right now. Now this is a minor gripe for me with this plugin is when I slap it on and I use the color space transform that's in Dehancer, it looks like this and it's pretty lifeless. There's no real color there. Not a lot of contrast, saturation. It's a really flat image. I've watched other people review Dehancer before online, and when they slap it on there and they put in their camera space, like an FX3 or whatever, it looks pretty awesome, pretty dope from the start. And this doesn't look awesome. Like, it's lifeless. So the first time I opened it, I was like, wow, this is not really what I expected. I saw everybody slapping Dehancer on it. It looked pretty great instantly. So there was a lot of work here. So the first thing I do to get some of that color back is I go into my film developer here. It's collapsed when you open Dehancer, but you gotta press show. I drag up the color boost to around 50 here. So as you can see, if I toggle that on, we're working with a little bit more color. You can even drag it on to like 100, which is still not like tearing down the footage, but we're gonna do other things as well to process this image. So we're gonna start with 50, but that's really necessary for me because otherwise it doesn't really look that good. So I need to do this. I don't know, Dehancer, what's wrong with my instance, or is it Final Cut Pro that processes it differently? But I always have to use my color boost to get a little bit of life in the image, and not a lot of other people had to do that from what I've seen. So the other thing is, you can see that grain is toggled on. Nothing of the film effects is toggled on, but grain is toggled on. I don't know why. I always have to scroll down, find grain, take it off, then go back up. I would prefer it to be not on when I start and just use my prints and everything and color it. And then when I get to the grain, I can toggle it on or off or whatever I like to do. So I always toggle that off, so that's another thing. I don't know why it's on, but it's on. We didn't really touch our exposure or anything like that. We're gonna do that with the color wheels a little bit. For now, we have just put in our camera space and we've upped the color boost here and enabled the film developer. Now, film print, you can choose a lot of prints here, like film stocks in abundance, you know, a lot of Kodak, Fuji Color, Fujifilm, you know, Polaroids, Fujichrome, but I used the Cinestill 800T. That's what I used for this shot and the whole video. And I didn't really touch the push or pull. I left it as is. The film compression as well, I turned that on. You can see that it kind of takes away the highlights and it compresses it down as it says, film compression, but it doesn't really touch the exposure of the image. So the exposure kind of stays the same, but you can see that the highlights are just getting dragged into the image more. You know, it really pulls it together. So I always turn that on. You can also play with the color density here. It's pretty minor, but like bright colors, it's gonna push it a little bit more, like reds or yellows or anything like that. It's gonna make it pop a little bit more. Then for our print standard, it comes with linear. You have the Cineon film log, which turns it back to a log profile, the Fujifilm 3513 print, and then the infamous 23A3 print, which is used on a lot of films or movies. That's a really popular print, but I use the Endura glossy paper here. You can see that the 23A3 already gives us that teal in the highlights, which we have in our final image. But I didn't actually use that print. So if I go to my print, I use the glossy paper, and as you can see, that teal is nowhere to be found. And that's what I did in the last hue saturation curve. So we'll do that later. Rest, you know, you can go into your color head here and do a lot of other things. I toggled the grain on. You have your presets, 35mm, 8mm, 16mm. I used a custom. I like it to be really fine, so I did like a size 5, and then amount I did 30. Film resolution, I dragged that up. It was around something like this for the grain. And then the halation, I turned that on, and I just used the Super 35, the 35mm preset. Initially, I turned bloom on as well, but in some shots, it just kind of washed the image out and just became a little muddy and mushy, the footage, and it just didn't look right, so I toggled it off. So that's already looking pretty even with our final image. So that's everything I did in Dehancer. Super simple. I only touched a few sliders, you know, didn't really adjust a whole lot, just chose my film stock, went for the glossy paper print, turned up my color boost here, and the rest I pretty much kept standard. So the film grain, I did a little customizing on that, but the rest is just straight out of the box. So super easy, super nice, and it looks amazing. So if we collapse this, the only thing I did here in my color wheels was drag the shadows down a bit and pull up the highlights. Because it got compressed in that film compression, I wanted to bring it out a little more contrast. So that's what we get with the color wheels on. And then if we go back and take a look at our final image, it's looking real close. The only thing we need to do is the highlights. So what I did here in the hue saturation curve, I went to the U versus U, so that way you can switch colors into another color. You can turn a certain blue into another blue. So I went to the qualifier here and I took the blue of the sky and I pulled it up towards teal a little bit, and that gives you that effect. So, you know, that blue is nice. Sky is never really going to be that teal, but the blue is nice. But I mean, if you turn on those titles, this is nice. Like, I like it, but this gives it, you know, a little bit of je ne sais quoi, pour se dire en français. So that's our final image. Toggle off, toggle on, that's our image. Literally, this is doable in like 5 minutes to go from a log to this image, which looks super filmic, super nice. And I've used Film Convert before, for example, which is a great tool as well. It requires a little bit more work to get it right, in my opinion. I think Dehancer is a little bit more foolproof, like the basic settings and the presets and everything of the halation, the bloom. It's just, it looks so good right out the box. So you can't really go wrong. If you turn it on, it's really rare that it looks off. You know, it almost always looks spot on, the halation, the bloom, everything like that. Yeah, it's a really good plugin. I can't really say anything else about it. If you go into it, you have a lot more options as well. You also got film damage, film breath, gate weave. Those are, you know, the imperfections of film in the past that the human eye has grown accustomed to. So we associate that with cinematic and a filmic image, but they're actually imperfections in the film. You know, film damage are those little scratches that appear here or there. Film breath and gate weave is like the film being pulled in, and you know, it kind of a character that we love as humans. So imperfections look good to the human eye. And then if you like the look that you're getting, you can just use the LUT generator here and you can make a LUT out of it. Super easy, super nice. I had high expectations for Dehancer, and at first when I threw it on there and it looked so lifeless, I was like, what? It's supposed to look great out the box. A one-click wonder, you know, it should be. I've seen it before on YouTube, but once you get into the sliders and you kind of know your way around, I can get what I want out of the plugin. I'm definitely gonna use it on probably all of my projects from now on. Because, you know, you can color it and it looks great, and then if you want the real filmic elements to it, you can just add the bloom, add the halation and the grain and everything, and it gives it a whole different vibe. You can go for a modern look, like a punchy modern look, and color it the way you want, and then you can take that exact image and add a whole lot of film elements and give it like a real film vibe with the same color. So the possibilities are endless. As you can see, like I'm still talking about it. I really like the plugin. Like I've only used it on this project now, but all these clips here from the travel film, they're all colored with the same Cinestill 800T, same settings. The only thing I did individually was kind of adjust the exposure a little bit with the color wheels. That's the only thing I did. The rest is all colored with the same settings. So it looks awesome. Really, really, really happy. That's for the video side of things, and what's actually cool is that Dehancer also has a photo app, which I've downloaded as well. I edited some pictures that I took in Paris as well with that app, and I'll show you the before and after here on the video. It's super easy. Like, you just add a photo from your library, you go straight into your film stocks, you choose your film stock, and then you have every aspect that you have in the plugin here for Final Cut or DaVinci or Premiere Pro. You almost have the same flexibility in your phone. Like, it's insane. I mean, you can dial in your halation and your bloom just to your taste, and your grain, your size, everything on your phone, and then just post it to Instagram. I mean, if you're looking for this kind of vibe in your Instagram profile or your photos or anything really, if you want to give it the film vibe, you can have it in your pocket on your phone. Just pull it out, you know, snap a picture. You're on a trip, snap a picture. You take your phone, put it into Dehancer, you start to tweak. You even got presets, you start to tweak things, and in 5 minutes time, you have an awesome image. The only thing I would say here with the photo app is I have an iPhone SE 2020. Yeah, I'm lame like that. And it's a tiny screen. So if I open the Dehancer app, like my photo that I'm editing is super small. So it was kind of hard to edit it because it was so small. I kind of winged it and eyed it off like on this tiny preview, and I did like 3 or 4 edits in 10 minutes and exported them to my camera roll, and they all looked amazing. So even with the small preview that I had, thought it was gonna look good, I didn't know for sure, and I got them into my camera roll and they looked awesome. So again, foolproof. You can't really go wrong with the photo app as well because it's so easy. I have a feeling that anywhere you pull your sliders, like even extremely left or extremely to the right, it will still look good because you can't really mess up your image. I have a feeling with this plugin, like you can push and pull whatever you want and it will still look good in any combination. I'm super excited, as you can tell by my video here. So yeah, I'm super happy. I will be using it on a ton more of projects coming up for me. It's already a go-to tool for me in my arsenal, and I've been using it for 3 weeks. So I also have a discount code for you guys for 10% off. The code is below. It's JD Create, so you get 10% off any plan that you wish to purchase on the website. If you want to go for the plugin, just use my code. You get a 10% discount, and I get a little some, you know? So it helps me on the channel as well. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're interested in the Dehancer plugin, check out their website, use my code, and you can get the light version, you can get the full version, you can get, you know, the grain and halation separate, so you can do whatever you like. I can't recommend it enough. And I've used other plugins before. I've used Film Convert, I've used Power Grades in DaVinci, you know, Film Vision, Cineprint, but I like using Final Cut, and this works in Final Cut. So I think that's it for me. Dehancer, thank you, awesome, and on to the next one.